Okay, I'll start the video.
ConnecTogether creates opportunities for people with disabilities by providing information, resources, and programming geared towards better inclusion and quality of life. August will include the following programming: Service Mondays, where we highlight a local organization or initiative. Tuesdays are for ABC Studios Art Break with ConnecTogether. Wednesdays are chair yoga with Bobby Seal Kabisky. Thursdays are adaptive fitness with Ocean Rehab and Fitness. Fridays are contemporary improv dance classes with Jane Florence. Also coming up is ConnecTogether's Community Barbecue. Join us on August 27th from 5 to 7 p.m. for a casual social gathering to celebrate another successful year and our Society's volunteers. Check out our updated programming calendar on our website, connector.org, or follow us on social media.
Okay, Sierra, you can start.
Awesome, thank you. And new video, that's exciting. Hi everyone, I am Sierra. I'm from Ocean Rehab and Fitness. And today we're gonna work on some body strength and core. I'm currently not in my usual location, so I am using a dowel today for some exercises that we're doing. But otherwise, I'm trying to keep it minimal equipment today, so you can pretty much do all of it without any equipment. So definitely easier today in terms of that. Otherwise, we'll jump right into it. We're going to do a little bit of strength, a little bit of some cardio warm-ups. So feel free to add music behind the scenes for yourself if that feels good. Otherwise, we're going to get into it and finish off with some core. So yeah, we're going to get into the shoulder mobility that I have planned today, and then we will go from there. So to start, we're going to get into some flexion and extension of the shoulders and of the neck. So we'll start with the neck, just looking up and down to start.
Microphone on?
Good. And then we're going to look left and right. Right ear to right shoulder, and then the opposite. So tipping right ear to right shoulder, and then switching. Good. And then from here, we're going to bring right arm up, left arm back, and go into some flexion and extension, and then switching to each arm. And then we're going to bring arms in front and arms out to the sides. Nice. And we're going to go into some shoulder rolls. So going backwards. Nice. And then we're going to bring right arm out in front. We're going to go bending at the elbow parallel to you and rotate out. So that arm is front. You should have elbow aligned with shoulder and then rotating it out. Good. And then we're going to switch that elbow out to the side and rotate out. Good. Nice. Switching to the other arm. So arm parallel in front of you, elbow directly across, and we're going to open from there. Good. And then we're going to rotate. So elbow is out to the side and then opening up, rotating that hand so the palm is now going from ground to facing me. Nice. Trying to keep that elbow up at shoulder height while shoulders are still relaxed. Good. We're going to add both if you can here. Nice. And then from here, we're going to bring elbows down to our sides, palms still facing me, and pressing up to the sky. Nice. So pressing as far as we can all the way up. Awesome. And then from here, we're going to bring right arm to the side and we're just going to go into circles. Can't fully see me here. Into circles. So stirring the pot, letting that arm be nice and loose. Imagine you have a weight on that wrist and we're going to go in one direction, making nice big circles. Good. And then we're going to switch directions, making sure we keep that arm relaxed, shoulder relaxed. Nice. And then we're going to switch sides. So starting in one direction, staying nice and loose. And switching directions. Good. And then from here, we're going to bring one arm out front. So we're going to bring arm out front and you're going to imagine someone's pulling that wrist and bringing that arm forward and then back. So notice small movement here, getting some protraction and retraction in the shoulder blades. So imagining someone pulling and then coming back into the socket, pulling and back. And back, good. One more. And back, good. Next side. So notice very small movement, keeping that shoulder. So we don't want to be up here. We want to be nice and relaxed. Good. And back. And one more. Good. We're going to move into the wrist. So if you're able, creating circles with those wrists, drawing big circles, and then switching directions. Nice. And then from here, we're going to bring hands to shoulders, keeping those elbows tight. We're going to go out and back in. So just moving at the elbow joint. And then we're going to bring hands to shoulders, roll those shoulders out, bringing those elbows up to the sides, and then bringing the arms all the way out. So hands to the shoulders, roll forward, and then back out. Good. So big circles with those elbows as your hands come to the shoulders. Good. And really trying to emphasize keeping those shoulders down as you roll forward. Nice. Good. Nice. And then from here, hands on our hips, we're going to go into a big circle. So like a hula hoop. So for some, this might be actually doing this motion. For others, you might be pushing yourself into that motion. For some, it might just be weight shifting. Whatever you can do to get some of that hip movement going. Nice. And then we're going to switch directions. Awesome. And then we're going to come back to center. So we're going to go into a quick hip hinge. So for me, I'm going to put my hands on my lap, leaning forward and coming back. For others, it might be hands on the hips. For some, it might be just a simple weight shift. So just keeping that back nice and flat as we come forward. Good. Back and forward, keeping that chest up. Awesome. Last one. And back. Good. All right, grab some water if you need. We're gonna go into some quick cardio. So grabbing water and also grabbing the dowel. So if you feel like you need some boost of energy, feel free to add some music in the background. Music definitely helps with getting your heart rate up. So if that is of interest, feel free to do that. Otherwise, we are going to do a minute of kayaking, a minute of boxing, a little of a bit of a dowel movement, and then a minute of boxing again. So quick type of movements just to get the heart rate going. I'm going to add a timer here. And let's go. So we're going to do some kayaking. So everyone knows what kayaking is. So you're going to similar motion, simulate that motion with your dowel. If you don't have a dowel, you can still be doing that motion. So find a nice little pace for 1 minute here. Nice and controlled. Good. And if you want to add a bit of rotation to warm up that spine some more, feel free to follow that dowel with the eyes. Good. And add a little more speed. Good. So first minute, nice and light. We're going to get into some boxing, so getting a little more movement in. Good. 5 seconds. We're switching to boxing. We're going to do some jabs. 3, 2, 1, and going into jabs. So punching out front. If you really want to get technical, adding those hands coming back to the chin. Good. Once you get that movement, you can start adding some speed. Quick rebound coming back to you, back to the face. Nice. 30 more seconds. Good, add some speed. Nice work. Remembering to breathe here. 15 seconds. Punching in front, coming right back. Good. And they're going to grab that dowel in 3, 2, 1. Grab the dowel. We're going to do a forward and up motion. So forward and up. Okay, so 1 minute. Starting nice and light. Good. So forward and up. Good. Squeezing those shoulder blades every time we come down. So when we come forward, squeezing as we come back. Nice. 30 seconds. And we start to feel a little warmer now. Remembering to breathe 10 seconds. Nice. 3, 2, 1, and switching to boxing again. So punching forward, punching across. So we're going to do 2 jabs sequences, and then you go left hook, right hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, left hook, right hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Coming back to the face. Oh, I'm missing the combo too. Good. So 4 jabs, a little bit of framework, and then hook. Nice. Nice. And we're resting. Okay, grab some water. We are going to do all of that one more time, but for now, grab some water, stretch it out a bit, and then we're going to get into it one more time. Okay. So remembering to breathe during this time, getting in all that oxygen, some water. Okay. So 30 more seconds and we're going to go again. All right, so grabbing our dowels, we are going to go into some paddling. So we're going to do a dragon boat style paddle this time. So what that looks like is choosing one side. You're going to have your bottom hand. So if you're on the right, your right hand will be on the bottom. Left hand is going to be up. You are going to reach forward, rotate and pull back, stopping at that hip, resetting and going back. Okay, so going into that paddle, we're going to do 30 seconds on one side, 30 seconds on the other if you feel like you want to switch. And let's start. So starting slow, once you get that pattern, you can add some speed. If you want to add that rotation for a little more challenge, feel free. Good. 15 seconds. So resetting and then going to the hip and then back. And then switching sides if that feels good, or sticking to that side. Nice. Again, not necessary to have the dowel. You can still do that motion, but definitely a little more bang for a buck. We do have it. Good. Remembering to breathe, 10 seconds here. Good. And switching into boxing. We're going to start with some jabs for 30 seconds. I'll switch it up on you. Good. So quick jabs. Halfway through our work, well, almost halfway through our workout. So starting to add some speed and intensity. So whatever feels good. 10 seconds. Good. And we're going to switch to speed bag. So imagining like we are punching a speed bag going in circles with those arms. You can go in one direction, you can switch directions. The higher and the further away from the body, the more core involvement you have. You can stay nice and close. If you want to challenge, stay up a little higher. Good, 10 seconds, add some speed. Nice. Okay, and switching to our out and ups. Move again. So adding our out and up. Pushing that dowel out front and then up, squeezing those shoulder blades every time we come back to the chest. Good. Nice, 40 seconds. Awesome. Halfway. And we have one more boxing round before we get into some strength. 20 seconds, remembering to breathe. Getting up as high as we can go with those shoulders. Nice. Good, and we're resting. Well, not really, we're jumping right into boxing. So punching in front, 1, 2. We're gonna go hook, hook, uppercut, uppercut. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 jabs, hook, hook, uppercut, uppercut. Okay. So 6 punches here, reset. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. So finding a good pace and then sticking with that, we are halfway. Every time we get into our rotations, notice that each one helps set you up for the next one in a nice rotation to add some force. Good. Add some force here again. Maybe some speed once you get that pattern going. Like I said, lots of brain work today. Nice. And we are resting. Good work. Okay, grab some water. We are going to hold on to our dowels. Don't get rid of them yet. And then we're going to get into some strength. So we're going to do 6 different exercises, 2 exercises at a time. Then we're going to go through them all again. So grab some water if you need. Catch your breath, and then we're going to get going. Okay. So you have 30 seconds left. So I'm going to start talking about the next one, and then we will get into it. We are going to do a bicep curl to overhead press. If you have weights, feel free to grab those. I'm going to use the dowel today just to keep it simple. So I'm going to have the dowel kind of nice and low, either down towards my knees or towards my lap. And I'm just going to go into a bicep curl. From here, we're going to press up. So the goal here is really to think about keeping those shoulder blades down and back as we press up and keeping them there the whole time. Good. Nice. 6, 7, 8. Good. 2 more. 9 and 10. Good. We're going to go right into some shoulder squares. So we're going to draw those squares with our shoulders, going up to the ears, rolling back, down and forwards. Good. And we're going back, down, forward, and up. So opposite direction of what lots of us often are doing. Good. Squeezing those shoulder blades back. Nice. And then from here, we're going to do some chest openers, but we're going to go in a diagonal direction. So we're opening up that chest, coming back to center, and then going in the other direction. Good. So really seeing how stable you can stay here. If you have weights, feel free to add those here. Otherwise, you are sticking to what I am doing. Opening up that chest, really squeezing those shoulder blades. Sticking to thinking about nice and slow, feeling that motion. Good. 2 more. And 10. Good. We're grabbing that dowel now and we're going to rotate. So for some people like to cross their arms and rotate. Others, they like to keep it at the chest and rotate. Whatever feels good to you. Really focusing on seeing how far you can get that rotation or seeing how far you can rotate that dowel before you come back to center and rotate to the other side. Good. And back. So this one for some is very frustrating because the movement is not a lot for some people. That's okay. The goal here is to stay nice and controlled and get as much as you can and then coming back. Good. One more. And then coming back. Good. So from here, we're going to go into a dowel around the world. So we're going to bring the dowel out front, and you're going to kind of create a C till you come all the way up, and then you're going to come all the way back down. Okay, all the way up and all the way back down. So keeping those shoulders down away from those ears. You want to be up here, you want to be down, and going as high as you can with that dowel. Good, halfway. Good, last one. Nice, and we're resting. Next one you're going to do is a scap squeeze. I'm going to rotate so you can see a little bit. So what we're doing is thinking about squeezing those shoulder blades back as if we have a blueberry between those shoulder blades. So squeezing those shoulder blades back and then resting. So all the way back, hold, and then release. Back to hold and release. Good. So nice, small, subtle movement. Good, two more. And last one. Good. Okay, next one we're going to do is a bit of it's a little bit of core, it's a little bit of hand-eye coordination. If you have a ball near you, a phone, a water bottle, you can also use the dowel depending on how you feel. What we're going to do, I'm going to do with the dowel. I'm going to bring my right arm out front, holding the dowel. Palm is facing up towards the ceiling. The other arm's going to come in front, and it's going to rotate out and back. And the goal here is to try and keep the dowel nice and flat, or whatever object you have in your hand, and nice and steady. Good. So this is the first movement. And we're going to switch sides. So opening up and coming back. Staying nice and level. A little more bend in the elbow will allow you to balance more if you want that challenge. Trying to keep that arm nice and straight. Good. Nice. And then we're going to move into, so we're going to switch. One arm's going to be out front. The other arm is now going to rotate with that object and come back, and then switch hands. Trying to keep that arm straight out in front and the other arm straight as it goes out to the side. Nice. Remembering to breathe. Good. Two more. And we are resting. Nice work. Okay, grab some water, and then we're going to go all the way back to the top with our bicep curl to overhead press. If you want to add more equipment as we go, feel free. Otherwise, we're going to do all that again. So I'll give you about a minute rest here. So we're going to go through this one more time, and then we're going to get into some more core and then a bit of stretching. So hopefully everyone is feeling good. Okay. So grabbing your dowels. Okay, grabbing your dowels or your dumbbells, depending on what you're using. We're gonna go right into our bicep curl to overhead press. So bicep curl, holding palms facing towards you, and then press. Good. Good, nice and slow and controlled today, especially if you're just using a dowel, because you don't have a lot of weight. We can slow that motion down and add a little bit more of intensity that way. Good. Good. 3 more. And keeping those shoulders down. Nice. And then we're going to go right into your shoulder squares. So really hitting those shoulders today with some mobility. So going up towards the shoulders or up towards the ears, rolling back, down, and forwards. Good. Good. Nice and controlled. Really trying to emphasize each movement. And then we're going to go into your chest openers diagonally. So opening up that chest. If you want weight, feel free to grab weight. Good. Nice and slow. Staying nice and stable. So seeing how much you can move those arms and open up that chest without moving that head. Good. Seeing how straight and stable you can keep those arms. And thinking about squeezing those shoulder blades, feeling that opening of the chest and that stretch. Good. Okay, 1 more on each side. Good. And then next one we're going to do, instead of dowel rotations this time, we're going to do a hinge. So holding onto that dowel. A couple different directions you can go with this is having that dowel at the chest and hinging forward. You could also try behind and hinging forward. For some, that might be very minimal. If it's easier, also coming at hands on the lap and coming forward, or hands on the hips and coming forward. So we're going to get in 10 reps of that, keeping that back nice and straight, head up, chest up. Good. Good. And really trying not to compromise that spine and letting it curve in as you go forward. Good. 2 more. And last one, coming forward, pausing, and then coming up. Good. Okay, so next one we're going to do is our dowel around the world. So holding onto that dowel, going all the way up, creating that rainbow over you, and then coming down, focusing on those shoulders staying down. Good. So having that curve in the front this time. So instead of going straight up into an overhead press, we're actually going forward and then all the way up around us, as far back, and then coming down. Good. halfway. Seeing how stable you can keep everything else now. Just letting those arms move. Good, thinking about engaging that core. Thinking about engaging that core. Good, 2 more. And 10. Nice. And then from here, we're going back into your scap squeezes. So thinking about squeezing those shoulder blades back. So going into scap squeezes. So squeezing those shoulder blades, imagining that blueberry between the shoulder blades as you squeeze. Notice it's not a big movement. And last one. And 10. Good. Okay, we're going to go into your hand-eye coordination balance exercises here. So again, if you want to use the dowel, I find because it's a longer implement, it's a little more challenging, but if you have a ball or your phone or a water bottle, feel free to use that. So to start, bringing right hand, holding that object in front, and then we're going to bring the other arm in front and then rotate out, but everything stays nice and stable looking ahead for this one. So it's just that arm going out to the side. Seeing how much you can challenge yourself with keeping everything straight. Obviously, bend that elbow that's holding the object if you need more balance. Good. One way to add a little bit of a progression and a little harder is adding a heavier object, but also having this flimsy long stick is helpful too. Good, last one. Then we're gonna switch sides. So opening everything up, but keeping everything else stable. Good. Shoulders down, making sure we're not hiking those up. Good, we're getting hopefully a little bit of that shoulder stability here. Nice, and we're gonna rest there. Then we're gonna switch arms again. So one arm's out front, then we're gonna rotate with that object and then switch. So rotating out, following that object with those eyes. While we keep that other arm out front, try and keep it stable out front. And then seeing what you can do with that arm that's going out. Good. Three more. And last one. Good, and we are resting. Okay, grab some water. We are gonna go into some core. You can use different implements here, whether you have your weights or a dowel, so feel free to grab some of that if you do. Otherwise, make sure you grab some water if you haven't already. And then we're going to get into our first core exercise, and what that is going to look like is some Russian twists. I'm going to grab just my water bottle just because I don't have enough room with the dowel in here. So I'm just going to use my water bottle to show this, but if you have a little bit of weight, feel free to use that. So Russian twist, we are just twisting from right to left. So first way we can do this is rotating right to left. If you want and are able to, you could also add a knee lift here, keeping the knees towards the chest and keeping that spine nice and straight. If you're doing the one that I am doing with just the rotation, Feel free to add a bit of speed once you get that. And following where that object is going with those eyes. Good. So really thinking and being intentional with that rotation. And then once you get that, adding a bit of speed. Good. My water bottle's leaking. Good. Couple more here. And then we're going to go into a seated bug. So similar to what we were doing with the eye to hand coordination, except for this time, we're going to go arm in front, and then arm is going up. So bringing arm in front, the other arm is going up, holding whatever it is, more weight, the harder it is. Bend that elbow if you need a little more control here. Otherwise, trying to keep everything nice and straight. Shoulder blades down. Belly button towards the spine. And we're going to switch sides. So arm straight in front, other arm is going all the way up. Good. Shoulders down. Nice, and we are resting. Next one we're going to do is paint shakers. So I'm going to add a timer for 30 seconds. You are going to hold an object in front, and we're going to go into imagining that we are shaking a bottle of paint or can of paint. And here we want to try and shake that object as far in front as you can, and then bring it back as quickly as you can. Without moving the whole body. So starting in with our shake and then adding speed once you find that speed, and then trying to keep everything else nice and stable. Good. I lied. I think we can go for 45 seconds. That's 15. Good. You can probably hear all this water that's leaking. 15 more seconds. Nice. 10 seconds, add some speed. Keep that head stable. And rest, nice. Okay, we're gonna jump right into the top again and going into our Russian twist. So twisting to the right and then the left, following that object with those eyes, being intentional with that rotation. Nice. Two more on each side. Good, and switching to our seated dead bug. So one arm going out in front, and then bringing that other arm out and up. So object is in front, other arm is going all the way up, keeping everything nice and stable again. Belly button coming towards the spine or thinking about it. Nice. And switching sides. And last one. And we're gonna go into our paint shakers one last time. We're gonna go for a minute and let's go. So staying stable, seeing how far away from the body you can go without the body moving. So if you're here, Staying stable, great. If you can add a bit further away from the body without the body moving, even better. Good. Add that speed. Halfway. Nice work, burning it all the way to the end. Thinking about belly button towards the spine here still. Nothing else is moving. Thinking about what else we can do to stay stable. Good. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and we are resting. Nice work. Okay, we are going to go into some stretching. I'm going to use a dowel to start with some stretches. So if you have that dowel, feel free to grab it. We are going to go into a bit of a shoulder stretch to start. So bringing the arms up, thinking about pulling that dowel apart. If you have a towel, that is something else you could use here. So trying to get as far back as you can and then pulling that dowel apart. I'm just going to hang out here for a minute. So see how much you can pull. As you get comfortable, see if you can pull a little further. Good. So checking in with our breath here. We want to go in through the nose, out through the mouth. Good, and we're gonna slowly lower. Next, we're gonna do a bit of a tricep. So you can either have the dowel, bringing, let's say, if you're starting on your right arm above, left arm behind, and holding onto the dowel. For some, that's just an arm over and then the other arm back. You can also hold onto a towel here. Once you get set up in this position, if you're holding onto a dowel or a towel, you're thinking about pulling that dowel or towel apart. So one arm's going up, one arm's going back, but we're still trying to get those hands as close as you can together. Which, if you have some shoulder muscles like I do, it is not very good. Good. And if this is a challenge and you don't have these, you can also just have one arm above, one arm below, and you're just trying to touch your hands together. Good. And then once you find that position, trying to get up straight with the spine, and then we're going to switch sides. Nice. So trying to bring those hands together, whether you're using an object or just your arms. And then thinking about pulling apart a dowel or a towel, sitting up nice and tall once you get there. Nice. This is one I don't do enough, so I definitely need this too. Good, and then we're going to slowly release that. And we're going to go into a pec stretch. So bringing one arm in front, getting into the pecs, finding a tender point, pushing into that muscle, and then you're going to open up the chest. So pressure in that pec muscle, coming back to center, opening up. Good. So if that feels good, you could stay here, or you can reset, put some pressure in, open everything up, and back. Nice. Good. 2 more. Last one. Nice. And then we're going to switch sides. So finding a point, putting pressure, and then opening up that chest. The more pressure you put into it as you open up, the more you will feel that. Good. Feel free to reset if you need. or find a new point. And 2 more. And we're resting, good. Tucking that chin in, we're gonna bring nose to right armpit, relax that left side. If you want, you can bring hand on the head and help pull you a little further. And we're going to switch to the other side, tucking that chin in again. Left side's going over. And if you want, grabbing that left hand and pulling the head down towards that armpit. Good, and then we're going to rotate to the right. Making sure we can breathe here. If you can't breathe, you maybe have rotated too far. Keeping that chest lifted. And then we're going to rotate to the other side. Good, coming back to center, we're gonna bring an arm over the head and reach as far over as we can, really feeling the stretch on the sides here. Good, and then we're gonna switch sides, opening everything up, trying to keep that armpit in up high towards the ear and not drop down. Good, and then coming back to center, we're gonna do our last one, putting our hands on a desk or table in front of us, shooting those hips back. Head's gonna go between the arms, letting that head drop and dangle. And the goal here is to put some weight in those hands and to start feeling the stretch in those lats. Once we get into that position, you're gonna take some big inhales. Exhaling down through the spine. As you inhale, imagining you are giving space into those ribs in the back. Let that head dangle. And 2 more breaths. One more breath here. And then you're going to slowly roll back up with that spine, lift that chest. We're going to look up towards the ceiling, bring those arms either behind or out to the side. Keep those shoulder blades down. And we're going to do 3 more breaths here. And exhale and come back to center. Okay, good work, everyone. Thank you all for joining me today. Great job on showing up for yourselves today. And otherwise, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all next week.
Lauren, today it's not a recording.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.
You too.
I won't see you for the next 2 weeks.
Okay, sounds great.
Somebody will be there and I'll be there after 2 weeks.
Perfect.
Thank you. Hope you have a good break.